Hello, everyone. Hope you guys are having a good night. So today has been a pretty damn big day in regard to a pretty big cold case. Natalee Holloway. Joran Van Der Sloot has confessed to the killing of Natalee Holloway, the murder, as part of a plea deal, which we will be talking about soon. We will also talk about specifically what he did, how he did it, and the details of the why, the how, and the where. So that's what we're going to be able to do tonight and talk about that. And then I have a surprise announcement about another big... Okay, so before I say this part, let me just kind of put it in this perspective. Natalee Holloway, a very old cold case, is now just been solved. There's been an arrest made in the Tupac Shakur murder, and there have been movements in a lot of other very famous cold cases. In one of those cold cases, there's pretty big movement based on what I've read, and it has to do with a viral video I've ever had. So we'll talk about that in a bit too. So let's kind of give the details on what's going on here. For those of y'all who don't know who Natalee Holloway is or what we're talking about here, Natalee Holloway did as part of a senior trip or graduation present to Aruba when she was 18 years old, and she met 17-year-old Joran Van Der Sloot, who's a Dutch citizen. And when she left the club, he tried to go with her wherever they were. Tried to go with her, and basically they were making out. He tried to go further with it. She said no. He apparently kept trying to go forward with it, and ultimately ended up taking her life. For the last 18 years, he has toyed with the emotions of the family. He has. On the music apparently on the there's still music going. I cannot hear that. All right, can you guys hear now? I did not realize that was still going. Sorry, didn't see that was still on. Okay, we will start that. We will start that over then. Is that better? We need a taser. All right. Sorry, apparently YouTube, we had a little glitch there. All right, we'll start this over again. One day I'll get this right, guys, and we'll get it right on the first try. So we are talking about Natalee Holloway tonight. I'll start this over. We're talking about Natalee Holloway for those of y'all who are just joining us. And basically, a lot of really big things happened today in regard to Natalee Holloway. The case is officially closed. It's been an ongoing case for 18 years, right? 18 years. So I'm trying to look at something else over there. And finally, Joran Van Der Sloot, who was extradited to the United States back in July, finally confessed. And we're going to talk about that confession tonight. We're going to talk about what all this means. And I'm going to also let you guys in on a little bit of a preview of something that's coming up in the near future in regard to another very massive cold case that we like to talk about. And I think it's very interesting. I think it's important and worth noting the fact that Natalee Holloway was just solved. There's been an arrest made in Tupac's case. A lot of these old cases, these really old, very famous cold cases, are starting to have movement again. So this other one we're talking about, it's I would say equally, if not larger, than Natalee Holloway and Tupac. So yeah, we're going to talk about that, but let's give a little bit of background on Natalee Holloway first. For those of y'all who don't know, we will make this very, very brief. So Natalee Holloway was 18 years old in 2005 when she went to Aruba as basically a senior trip or graduation trip, whatever you want to call it. While she was there, she ran into a 17-year-old young man named Joran Van Der Sloot, a Dutch national who was down there as well. They apparently left the club together, and ultimately he was trying to hook up with her, as we've learned here. And she declined his advances, and ultimately it resulted in her death. Well, Beth, you're in there. So anyways, so Beth Holloway has been searching for answers for the last 18 years. Okay, 18 years she's been searching for answers. And today she finally got them as part of a plea deal. So let's talk about, let's just dive right into what was said. I'm going to get this pulled up for you guys on YouTube here. We're going to read it. We're going to read it. Get this one pulled up first. All right, we're going to pull this up over here. All right, for those of y'all who can see this, let me pull it over here, and y'all listening can read it as well, or hear me read it at least. So this is the confession. Okay, I'm going to give y'all a trigger warning for this because a lot of y'all have heard part of it. This is the full thing. We're gonna skip over to the part where he talks and we learn exactly what happened to Natalee. Okay, that's what we're gonna do here. So Deepak and Satish, those were the two guys who've often been involved but were cleared later. They were two brothers that were kind of with him that night. So he basically says this. Well, here's the question prior to that leading it was, all right, do Deepak and Satish get out? Come with what happens? He goes, no, Deepak and Satish leave. They leave. They go back to their home. So I got a cord in the way. I assume they go back to their home. They get in their car and they leave. I'm actually with Natalee walking along the beach. I find a space before we get to the Marriott Hotel, where I lay her down. We lay down together in the sand and we start kissing each other. I get her to kiss me again, and we start kissing each other, and I start feeling her up again, and she tells me no. She tells me she doesn't want me to feel her up. I insist. I keep feeling her up either way. And she knees me, ultimately ends up kneeing me in the crotch. When she knees me in the crotch, I get up on the beach and I kick her extremely hard in the face. Yeah, she's lying down. Let's go to the next page, guys. So I know this is brutal. This is brutal, guys. The next page up. Unconscious, possibly even dead, but definitely unconscious. And I see right next to her, there's a huge cinder block laying on the beach. When you say cinder block, I'm looking at the walls of the place. Is it like those? Exact same cinder blocks. I see a huge cinder box laying on the beach. I take this and I smash her head in with it completely. Yeah, her face basically, collapses in. Even though it's dark, I can see her face is collapsed in. Afterwards, I don't know exactly what I'm scared. I don't know what to do. And I decide to take her and I put her into the ocean. I grab her and I half pull and half walk her into the ocean, and I push her off. I walk up to about my knees in the ocean and push her off into the sea. And after that, I get out and I walked home. So that is what happened. That is what he confessed. That was in the signed confession. That was done. That was done under polygraph to the satisfaction of both the FBI and to, most importantly, Beth Holloway. Here's the thing. Joran Van Der Sloot has been a liar for 18 years. I don't think he knows what the truth is. I do think he's telling the truth in this one, and I'll get to the reason why about that in a minute. But he has toyed with this family's emotions, with Natalee's mom's emotion, extorted her for money for years, strung her along for years. Finally, they're able to get him extradited to the U.S. They work out a deal with Peru, and they get him here on extortion and wire fraud for what he did to Beth Holloway, Natalee's mom. And basically what that was about is he said he would tell her way back when that if she gave him money, he would give the exact details of what happened. And so she did just that. She paid her child's killer. That was her words. And she says, you have no idea what kind of an impact, what that statement really means. But she pays Joran Van Der Sloot money for information, to which Joran Van Der Sloot later comes back and says, hey, what I told you was worthless. So they're able to get him here on that. And now he's looking down the barrel of another 20 years on top of what he's serving in Peru. So the reason he's in jail in Peru, for those of you who don't know, is because he killed somebody else on the 5th anniversary of Natalee's disappearance. A woman named Stephanie Flores had saw something on his computer about the fact that he was basically accused and asked about his involvement in regard to Natalee's disappearance, and he murdered her. And so he's serving time for that. And so this was a pretty good deal for him. He's never going to be able to be charged for murder in the United States because the murder didn't happen in the United States. It happened in Aruba. One thing that is really, really shitty about Aruba, guys, is that apparently Aruba only has a 12-year statute of limitations, okay, on murder. So you can go to Aruba and murder somebody as long as you can get away with 12 years, you're scot-free, apparently. So that's a really, really crappy thing, and I hope that they change their laws based on that after this. I mean, it wouldn't help, but nevertheless, they're the only ones. So he's facing the barrel of 20 years. So what the judge ends up doing is basically for his confession, for the truth, he gets to enter an immunity agreement. Now, I posted the entire immunity agreement on my Instagram. It's supposed to be 51 pages, but I got rid of some of the blank pages in there to make it easier so I could get it all on Insta. But I posted that on Instagram so you can go read the terms of the proffer yourself if you want to do that. And long and short of the story is he had nothing to lose. They gave him 20 years for the extortion. Okay. 20 years for the extortion, but that 24 or that 20 years that he got for the extortion is going to run concurrently with the sentence he's already serving in Peru. So what that means is that if you were to look at it from today, if he was serving only this crime and the time for this crime in America, in 2043, he would be released. In Peru, he's not eligible for release until 2045. So he will serve the 20 years while he's already serving the additional 22 years that he has left on that sentence in Peru. And he will never be allowed back in the United States. And he is supposed to pay restitution to Beth Holloway of $250,001, for everything. And so he took that because why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? And the reason that he's got no reason to lie about it is because if he is found out to be lying, then that negates the agreement that he signed. And by negating the agreement that he signed, they'll be able to have him extradited back here and serve the 20 years here. Now, the only caveat to that is that if for some reason Peru lets him out early, then he would be extradited back here to serve whatever the remaining time was left on that sentence. But I highly doubt Peru is going to let him out early. So yeah, it's been quite a roller coaster. It's kind of surreal to say that this case is officially over. Beth Holloway is pleased with the outcome. She's, when you saw her in the press conference earlier, we can maybe play that here. When you saw her in the press conference earlier, she seemed like a weight had been lifted off her shoulders. She seemed like she was more at peace. I'm looking real quick for the victim statement that she filed because I think that that's important too. The victim impact statement. Here we go. And because I think Beth's words are powerful, and I think that we should talk about them, don't you guys? So let's get this pulled up here again on the screen for YouTube, for you guys on YouTube. 1 second here. All right, there we go. This is Beth Holloway's victim impact statement, and we're going to read it for y'all. Joran, for 18 years, you have denied killing my daughter, Natalee. Your lies and manipulation, taunting us with fake news, interviews, and wild stories of what happened to her have caused her indescribable pain and harm to my family and me. The grief I feel lives way down deep in my soul. Now in the course of being sentenced for attempting to sell me her bodily remains, you have finally admitted that you, in fact, murdered her. Natalee would have been 36 years old now. I think about what kind of doctor she would have become. She would have been would she be married, have children, my grandchildren, but you destroyed all of this. You terminated her potential, her dreams, and her possibilities when you bludgeoned her to death in 2005. You took away my son's big sister. You changed the course of our lives and turned them upside down. You are a murderer. Remember that every time that jail door slams shut, you are a killer. You didn't get what you wanted from Natalee, sexual satisfaction, so you brutally killed her. You didn't get what you wanted, so you killed her. I have wondered over the years about the grief your mother has experienced. I've thought about how you destroyed her life, your brothers, your grandmothers, and everyone around you. And what about your daughter? Imagine one day you get a call that your daughter has vanished. And then you find out years later that a big bully who forced himself on her didn't get what he wanted, so he violently murdered her. Imagine that. I've wondered if the stress you caused your father, Paulus, contributed to his heart attack and sudden death. You are to blame for all of their suffering. And you are the one thing no one in Aruba wants to be, a black mark. Extreme emotional loss and pain really can't be comprehended by those who haven't lived a devastating tragedy like ours. And I have also suffered great professional and financial loss. When you killed Natalee, I lived in Aruba trying to find her and lost my teaching license and my tenure. I had to go back to school to get my license reinstated. Then I had to work harder to get my tenure back. Since 2010, when you extorted me and tried to sell me her bodily remains, I incurred attorney and investigative expenses that totaled $215,000. Your life was pretty much over in 2010 when you extorted me and then killed another young woman in Peru 5 years to the day after you killed Natalee. Even though you have finally confessed and it has been confirmed that you killed my daughter, you can't be tried here for her murder. I implore this court to give you the maximum sentence for wire fraud and extortion and demand you make financial restitution. Joran, while you're living your life in prison until you're an old man, I'll live the rest of my life with wonderful memories of a beautiful young lady who had her whole life in front of her. Natalee will be 18 forever in my heart. She was smart, so accomplished, and I have no doubt she would have made all her dreams come true. She had real hope. The hope that filled her heart fills mine, and I will wake up every day remembering who she was. That's a tough one to read, right? That's tough. But she got closure, and that's what's very important. She's finally able to rest. She knows what happened. And so there you have it. So I'll take any question on that, and then I will give you guys a quick thing. And Joe, I know that you don't have to. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. Joe Petito is on the TikTok live. Would you want to come in and because I know obviously you can kind of relate to this, and obviously I'm not trying to put you on the spot. So if you don't want to, you don't have to. And I also know that you know Beth, so I will leave that to you. No pressure. But if you'd like to come in and chat, please feel free, and I'll happily put you on. If not, let me know. So, okay, let's get Joe Petito on here then. We'll change the mic so they can hear you here. Oh, let me invite you in, buddy. If I can figure out how to do it, good Lord. I think I have to do it as a guest. I hate to do it that small, but there you go. Oh, you get to get full screen. Hey there.
What's up, man?
How are you, my friend?
I'm doing all right. Sitting at the house, got my dog next to me, doing okay.
Nice. The family's still out of town?
Family's still out of town, so it's nice and quiet here.
Well, we'll pretend that you didn't say that and they didn't see this. I don't know if you have any comments on this. I know that you kind of have experienced similar things. It didn't take you 18 years, fortunately, but you still had one day of it's too much.
You know, so I did have an opportunity to talk to Beth, and Beth is very sweet. Tell you, I only went through it for a few days, 9 days, 10 days, and it's too much. 18 years, man, is unreal. That's one of the, I'll tell you right now, that is one of the strongest individuals you will ever get a chance to speak to, if you ever get a chance to speak to, because she is.
I agree.
She's unreal. You know, the determination, you know, she just never gave up. She saw, an end that she needed to get to, and she got there. That's amazing. My heart breaks. This story is horrendous.
It is.
I read what happened. I don't know how she sat in there, to be honest with you.
I don't know how she didn't come across the room. She's, Yeah,
listen, it's disgusting. It really is disgusting. But I'm glad, that she got those answers. I am glad she got those answers.
I am too. And yeah, I agree with you. She has been relentless on the pursuit of justice for Natalee for 18 years, and she finally got it. But I just also want to say too, it's really impressive. Obviously the Department of Justice, this was the plan all along, right? Was to figure out what happened. So they brought him back. They extradited him from Peru to do this. And I just think it was a very, very well played. It was very well played by the Department of Justice on this.
It's interesting because they essentially got him on extortion.
Yeah.
It's almost like the Al Capone tax evasion type of thing. You know what I mean? We can't get you on one, we'll get you on the other. So, listen, it's not the outcome that I can't. I'm not going to speak for her. It's not the outcome I would want.
Yeah.
But the answers are more important than the outcome. He's already in jail, so it's going to be he's going to be extradited back to Peru, and their sentences are going to run concurrently, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So that being said, he's still in jail. He's going to have to, like you said, those bars are going to be there regardless. And I don't know what the jails are like in Peru, but
I don't think they're good.
More than likely not as good as the ones here in the U.S.,
No, he would have been much better to be here. In fact, I almost thought that was going to be the deal. Like, he'll confess, but, maybe he'll have to come to the U.S. to serve out the rest of his terms there. Maybe that was going to be, but I'm glad that wasn't it. I'm going to Google real quick while you're talking. What are Peruvian prisons like? Because I know they can't be good.
It's really interesting. So I don't know, as I'm relaxing here in my chair here, sorry. It's listen, I'm glad she got those answers, because like I said, I think I said it before, closure is not a thing you will get. Like, closure is, on a breakup, closure would be, hurting yourself and overcoming that, that adversity, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the loss of a child, you don't close that door. You don't, you know what I mean? You don't, you don't close it when you lose a parent. You know what I mean? Or you lose a spouse. Those are things you don't close. Yeah, you expect to lose a parent, but there are times when you still want to talk to your parents.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Good, bad, or indifferent. If that's my I don't know. It's something like that. You just never, that door can't close.
Yeah, it's and we've talked about before, you're part of a really shitty club. When you're part of that, nobody should have to bury their child.
I call it, because when I saw that, and I just saw another tweet that Haley Cummings was found. I don't know if you saw.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I gotta verify it, but I saw both of these stories, and listen, I had like myself an ugly cry. Like, my wife and kids are out of town. I had myself like an ugly cry tonight, just because. You know what I mean? Like, that shit affects me now. I don't know. I cursed. I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm.
You're allowed to curse. It's okay. But here's the thing. I'm glad, because we've gotten to know each other a little bit, and I remember I've talked to my wife. We talk about you on occasion and stuff like that, especially after like we hang up on a call. And I'm not putting you on the spot here. You don't have to say anything, obviously, but I'm just going to tell you, like, I've always just been. I've hoped that you've had a chance to grieve, because when everything was happening, and every time we see you on the news or TV, you are always the rock for everybody else. And it's like, does this man have like the opportunity to like do self-care for himself and give himself the proper ability to grieve? But it sounds like you do. So
I do, I do it. See, I grew up in a household where I was raised the chauvinistic way, like, you open a door for a woman, you know what I mean? Man pays, stuff like that. My wife takes care of all the money now, but like, these are things, you know what I mean? You fix things when things break, stuff like that. So I get my kids to bed. My wife will fall asleep before me, because apparently I snore, so I'm not allowed to fall asleep first anyway.
Funny.
So, I make sure everybody else is sleeping, and that's when I do it.
I think that's okay.
Yeah, listen, it is what it is. But no, I don't think we've started it, to be honest with you. Because we're still going through it. It's still an everyday thing. Once all that stuff's over, I think it'll be better, when the court stuff is over. I think it'll be better to really start, because then we don't have that hanging over our heads, and we can really verbalize what it is that we want to verbalize.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I can't wait. I mean, I know you've told me a little bit about some of what you want to say, and that's obviously between us, but like, I can't wait till we just get to let you off the leash.
Man, I'll tell you. There's some things that we, even with these depositions that we learn, we're like we didn't know, but I will say 99% of the things that we said or stated, I guess for legal terms, I'm going to say, in my opinion,
allegedly,
is true.
Okay.
So it is what it is, but does it help matters?
It doesn't change what's already
I
happened.
think I said it to you. It's my own selfishness of why we're doing that. You know what I mean? But it's for nobody else. It's really for us. But
I'm going to disagree with you a little bit because they're not going to be able to be held criminally accountable, even though I mean, I don't know as much as you do, obviously. You're privy to a lot more information than the general public is. But to me, there is no scenario where they didn't know what was going on. And apparently they are not going to be held liable, from a criminal perspective. So hit them in the pockets. At least then, if they get a guilty charge in, or they end up owing you all money, a judge finds it that way. That's a guilty verdict, at least in the public's eyes.
And I get it. I don't want their. I said this to Tara. I think I said it. I don't want their money. I don't want their money commingling with my money. I don't want that bad juju.
You said that to me too.
It's not, but no, but even if it was a possibility for them to be tried, go for criminal stuff or whatever. That's just selfish satisfaction for a moment, maybe two, and then what? You know what I mean? Then it's back to what I'm doing.
I don't know. If every once in a while, it's not going to change. It's not going to bring your daughter back. We know that, obviously. The money's not going to do that. Them rotting in a prison cell is not going to do that. But it might put a little smirk on your face to know that she's rotting in a Florida prison.
Yeah, but see now, and I'll tell you,
maybe not. Maybe not.
Even if it was, let's just say, for in a perfect world, there was what do they call it now? Oh my God, now obstruction. You know what I mean? Perjury. Those are misdemeanors, man. You're not getting jail time for that.
No, you're not going to get jail time.
It is what it is. You know what I mean? It really is a selfish thing that I'm doing it for. But if I'm doing this selfish, but I'm doing all the other stuff, or I should say, we are doing all the other stuff. You know what I mean? That isn't selfish. Hopefully that equals out.
Yeah. Well, I think that you always kind of amaze me with the stuff that you say and you do, and this is no different. It's, first of all, you have the right to be selfish, but you're also not being selfish, because I know that if you do end up getting paid out anything, I know you're going to do amazing things with the money, even though you don't want to commingling. It'll put their money. I know that y'all will put the money where it can be helpful.
I won't put the money anywhere. I won't see it.
Well,
Justin, I'm telling you,
all right. Well, somebody's going to see it.
I can win Powerball tomorrow, and my wife would be like, "Listen, health insurance is a fortune. Can you still work?" She won't. I wouldn't live with me. There's no way. I'd be too annoying to just stay home all day.
No, you had to get a hobby.
No, yeah, I'm the worst. I fidget. There's no way.
Oh my God.
Dude, come on. No way. No, I'd have to do something, and it would be the foundation. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I meant. I figured you would put the money toward the foundation.
We're going to do some really cool things with the foundation. We got a bunch of stuff coming up. Hopefully, we're trying to do, one state at a time, and we'll get there. You know what I mean? But it'll never stop, man. It'll, because I got nothing else, when it comes to that, you know what I mean? That's how I keep her legacy going. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and unless something happens to me where I can't, oh man, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah. And I think that's good though, and you guys got on the foundation, Gabby Petito Foundation, very quickly. And I'm going to say this because we have people in here and I do it every time you're in here. GabbyPetitoFoundation.org. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to want the hoodies that they have there. I know that you got other stuff too. I know, but you're like, I live in like the hoodie in the winter. It is like the most comfortable, warmest thing ever. And the money goes to a good cause. So do what? A cat?
Like my cat. She goes in and out. She's the worst.
But anyways, go support the Gabby Petito Foundation. They do amazing things with it, as you know. And, Christmas is coming up. They make good gifts. Just saying.
Yeah, they do.
I bought mine for Christmas. I bought mine around Christmas.
Yeah, they really are comfy. They're not like this crap jersey, whatever they are. You know what I mean? Like they're soft. You know what I mean? So I definitely dig them. And Tara and Nikki, they designed every one of them. I did the missing person one, but that wasn't hard. It's hashtag missing person.
That's my level of creativity too.
Our Tara and my boys and her kids, and Nikki and her kids. So they worked their tail off on that. So no, but when it comes to Natalee, and that whole story is just terrific. But
It is.
I mean, to watch Beth and anyone that's watching, I mean, she really is an inspiration. If you follow that story and her tenacity and never giving up and really just focusing on and doing it the right way, you know what I mean? Not trying to go get herself revenge, but doing it the right way through the legal means. That's a woman that should be admired, and she should inspire you because that is fantastic.
It is. I'm so happy for her. And like I said, did you see the press, like her statement that she gave to? Did you see her physically giving it?
I didn't see her. I saw her. I guess she was answering questions outside the courthouse.
Yeah,
I think it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm telling that woman. Let me tell you something. She's fantastic. She really is.
She is. But I think that from any time that you've seen her in the past, when you saw her this time, she just looked like a weight had been lifted off her shoulder.
But you know what? When all the stuff was happening with Gabby, I think I had done an interview with her, and I think a couple other people that were on there, and she had one of the, I forget who I was aware it was. There was so many, but they had given her my number, and she had contacted me, and me and her had over the time we've had some great conversations. She's an amazing woman, and I'll tell you that's someone that you should inspire you to really stay focused and be determined for a goal and to reach that goal. And that was awesome to see.
Really I think it was too. And there's a lot of people like Gabby's case. They followed that case and were hoping that, they would get answers. And, now you finally have them. If JonBenet Ramsey's case could just get solved now.
Yeah, that's another one. That's even older. What is that? That's going
96.
96?
96. It's been almost 30 years.
Google Haley Cummings. I saw it on Twitter. I don't know if you can't go by anything.
I follow you on Twitter.
L-E-E Cummings.
I follow you on Twitter. So you're saying I can't believe anything?
Yeah, I don't believe me. No, I'm kidding.
I don't see any new updates on her.
No, I thought I saw it from Elizabeth Cummings.
Maybe.
Which was her mother.
I mean, that would seem like a very, very reliable source. The last update that I'm seeing, news article wise, because I'm hitting the news button, is hold on. Let me make sure was from December 26, 2022. He's going to look. So we love Joe around here, guys. So I'm serious. Like, while he's waiting, GabbyPetitoFoundation.org. There is a link to it in my bio. Like, if you go to my webpage, there's a link to Gabby Petito Foundation. So go there and support them. Seriously, it's good merch for real.
You know what though, and that's greatly appreciated. But I'll tell you, I'd rather see stories of missing persons be shared, especially ones that don't look like everybody else. I think that's important.
I agree.
And if you're able to and comfortable enough to share a story of how you got out of a domestic violence issue and the steps that you took in order to do that, to help give other people, and now I got to let my cat out. This is what she does. It's an in and out all day thing.
You get it. Might have a dog like that, and we put a doggy door in, changes everything. You just need to put a cat door in.
Yeah. No, I live in Florida and there's alligators.
Well, that's fair.
That's a negative. We're not going to do
that. Fair.
I can just see lizards coming in, and then my wife, they'd like, go get it. And I'm, and now I got to take care of something else. But how you get out of a domestic violence situation, maybe inspire others. Listen, every situation is different, and every situation should be carefully planned the right way with the right people. But at least give people ideas that maybe someone might not be thinking of. So if that's a possibility and you're comfortable enough sharing that, that would be awesome.
Well, I will say this now that you said that. I had somebody a couple weeks ago, and I don't remember I think they messaged me privately, like after, I think it was the live that you had come on, you remember last time. And they said, if I talk to you again, let you know that after what happened with Gabby, it gave them the strength to finally leave an abusive relationship after several years. So for what that's worth to you.
It is worth a lot, because it makes me feel like it's the silver lining. You know what I mean? And listen, you take something like that and you use it as a learning tool. You know, like her video from being pulled over is being used as a learning tool. And as heartbreaking is for me and Nikki and Jim and Tara and you know, all the ones that loved her, it's a good thing. You know, if we could teach others to handle certain situations more effectively, that's progress.
See,
I mean?
I didn't think you guys had watched that video.
I haven't watched the video.
Don't
I've read the transcript.
Don't watch the video.
I've seen bits and pieces of it when I was waiting on like hold for interviews and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because they would play it in the interviews. Those are the only things I've seen. I've never seen the video in its entirety, and I won't. There's no reason.
Don't.
No, there's no reason for me to. But there's so many more stories, and there's so many more people that don't get that type of, you know, exposure, and that just because people are ashamed, you know. So if anyone's listening, if you're in a situation, you know, the shame isn't on you. You know what I mean? The shame is on the people that do the abuse. If you're
100%.
being hit, you're being mentally manipulated, you're being emotionally manipulated, you're being emotionally abused, you're being financially abused. The shame goes on them, because those are the ones that are acting like, I'm going to curse here, so I apologize.
No, don't apologize.
That are acting like absolute assholes, because that's not what you do. You know, my wife is my partner.
Same.
You know, that is someone that she is on equal grounds as me. Actually, it's like a 60-40. She's above. All right. She calls the shots in the house. But for the most part, you know, we are partners.
Let's be real. It's 75-25, Joe. Let's be real.
It's probably 75-25. That's true. I don't know how she does all the stuff in a day. So she's out of town. And she left in a hurry for obvious reasons, right? You know, because there were things going on. But so I was cleaning the house, and she does it on a daily basis. It's taking me, and my house is clean, bro. You know, like she does it every day, and it's taking me days to do stuff. I had to like Google how to use my washing machine.
That's hilarious.
I wasn't allowed to touch it. I shrunk a pair of pants back in like 2005, so I wasn't allowed to touch the washer and dryer.
That's
anymore.
funny. That's funny.
Well, it wasn't to her.
Well, I'm sure it's not to her, but that's funny that you've been. I mean, that's not a bad thing to be put on like laundry ban, but you know.
No,
that's not a bad
she's
thing.
Really fast at it. Like I'll take my clothes out to go, you know, put them on the bed to go take a shower, and she's like, "Oh, I thought they were dirty and they're in the wash, and the washing machine's running." I was like, I take a 2-minute shower. How did you get it that fast? So
yeah, my wife gets up every morning typically before me, handles feeding the kids, getting the dogs out, getting the dogs their medicine, making Victoria's breakfast. Then she has a phone call with her boss at some point, and then empties the dishwasher, just like so much. And then I finally get my ass out of bed, and you know,
yeah. You know, we split shifts on cooking stuff. You know, she'll cook, I'll cook, and that's fine. You know, and I bake and stuff like that because she hates that I bake because she thinks that I'm making everyone in the house fat. Because I make some good pastries and stuff. Like I love it. So
when you come in to visit, I mean, I got guest rooms, and you are welcome.
Listen, I make a badass, New York style cheesecake. It takes 7 hours to do my cheesecake.
Yeah, you can mess up my kitchen, so come on.
Oh no, I don't make a mess either.
Okay.
I make my own soft pretzels. I do it all. So apple pies, key lime pies, cookies.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Awesome. Oh, so good. When she's mad, I'll start baking. And I know she's mad at me, so I'll give it to the kids to go give to her. Because she won't turn the kids down. Like, how is it?
That's some sneaky stuff right there. that's some sneaky stuff right there.
I know she wants to try it. So
that's like the thing with like relationships when you're with somebody and you just say like the stupidest shit just to try to like break the ice to get talking, and like you go like, was that light always on the washing machine? Like, you know,
like I'm the annoying one. You know, I'll sit there like boop 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 until she yells at me. You know what I mean? Like that's, yeah, dude. I don't know why she stays. Like I don't get it. I wouldn't stay with me. Like I'm an annoying person, but I'm fun as hell though.
Yeah, I mean, and you are funny.
Yeah, maybe.
I've talked to you enough to be able to say that you're funny. So you don't get to say that now because I don't.
But I'm definitely fun. When we go out, I'm a good time.
Yeah, I would believe that.
So, but and Tara, because Tara's a rule follower. Yeah, she's all about following the rules and doing all that stuff. And you get a couple drinks in her, and then the rules don't apply anymore. And they're like, yes, we're ready.
Well,
So,
while I have you here, I've been teasing these people, and you might care, or you probably will care. Apparently, there was another very big case. That looks like it's about to have a pretty major update. Another one of the old ones, Madeline McCann.
Really?
So here's what the article says. Okay, so how much do you know about that case?
You'd have to bring me up to speed because I hear so many, and I know
Okay.
I know the case.
Okay, so this was the little girl. I forgot what year was it. I mean, it's been like 2002, I think, right? When did she go to me before? I don't tell you all wrong. All these dates, I struggle with dates.
See, this is it because there's so many, and because I get involved in so many, and
I know
so many, and then I'm like, I don't want to get.
She went missing in 07. She went missing in 07. So her family was British. They were at a
yes.
Yeah, in Portugal. And kind of like Joran has been the top suspect forever on Natalee's case, there's a German citizen named Christian Bruckner, who is the top suspect in Madeline's case. Now, he is a very violent, deviant sex offender, oftentimes against children.
Didn't someone try and come forward and say they were Madeline for
yes,
recently, like
yes,
6 months ago?
yes. Her name was Julia Wendell. That was insane. That whole thing. But the things I actually thought like maybe there's a chance here because of the whole eye coloboma thing that they had. Like that's a rare defect, in the eye, and they both had it. But anyways, so a few months ago too, they did a dig at this ravine near the resort, and apparently they found stuff. And so what this article is saying is that Christian Bruckner is facing lengthy jail terms for violent sexual attacks on women and children. It's saying it's a long-awaited trial. It's been set for him. He's been charged with 5 crimes, including 3 alleged word that sounds like grape and 2 attacks on children. The trial is scheduled to run for over a month, and he could be seen locked up due to life. But here's what they say. Right after they talk about this is the little blurb that they kind of just squeeze right by. The Madeline trial will follow soon afterwards.
All right.
That's my big. That is the big one. So yeah, that's.
Hopefully they'll go through something that's similar with Beth and Natalee.
I hope so too.
A confession will do, hopefully yield something. Maybe that's possible. I don't know. Especially when they present the defense with the evidence, and maybe it'll do something. I would love to see that.
I would love for all these.
Yeah,
especially because I know in that case, a lot of people similar to Jean Bonnet try to blame the parents on it. And, so you have these parents that are already grieving the loss of their kid and fighting to try to find the justice. In the meantime, they're in the spotlight because people want to believe that they were involved.
Well, usually that's kind of the reason, especially when they're so young, you really do blame the parents, just as when a woman is killed, you usually blame the husband or the boyfriend.
Because it always is the husband or the boyfriend, like 98% of the time.
It's 90%. It's over 90%.
Okay. That's okay. So there's a real, okay. I should have known you'd have the real statistics. So, okay.
Yeah. It's over 90% of murders of females is a current or ex-partner.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing, we talk about that with women. It's Natalee, she said no. That's why she got killed, because she said no.
Yeah. And the other girl that he killed, Fuentes, I think her name was
Stephanie Flores. Yeah.
Flores. That's it. And same scenario.
Yeah.
That's horrendous, and just to say because they said no, I get that it doesn't compute in my head. Like, I don't get that.
Yeah.
I don't
either. I don't know if it's a power trip, a power struggle, whatever it is, but like it's You know, I saw this whole thing the other day, how it's not safe for, I mean, it's not really safe for, I'm sure Tara tells you this stuff all the time. It's not safe for them to go to gas stations. It's not safe for them to go pretty much anywhere. Like my wife, like I would go out and walk alone or like this. Okay, I'll give you an example. There's an area not too far from where we live called Madison, Tennessee. It's part of Nashville suburb. It used to be very, very nice. Now it's gone fairly downhill. And Alyssa's like, she would never go down there. And I'm like, oh, I could totally go. I'd be fine. Because I'm a guy.
Yeah. Dude, listen, I'm 6'3", 280. If you can kidnap me, good luck, bro. All right? Like, I'm a big guy. You know, my wife is not. My wife's 5'7", 130. You know what I mean? Like, she's not. Like, you can pick her up and go. You're not picking me up.
Well, Joe, I
take a couple people to pick up my fat ass.
I'm 5'10" and 180, but I think I'm up for the challenge.
Listen, you're more than welcome. Man. I'm 280, but then you got to stuff me in something. Like, good luck, bro. You know, like that's gonna be.
You would have to get a big trunk, like a big car,
and a really big bag.
I wouldn't put you in a bag. I don't want to kill you just to see if I could abduct you.
You know, but I mean, no, you're right. It's not safe, and it's a shame that is the way it is. Like again, like how is that? I mean, listen, I live in a decent neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to worry about stuff like that. You know where I am, but you know, I do worry about it because you never know where it could happen. So
no, you don't.
It really is.
It can be anyone at any time.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this: whenever all of this stuff is over with y'all's litigation, I have so many questions for you. Whether we do them publicly or privately, I have so many.
I'm just going to answer Beth right here. I am a New Yorker, Beth. I moved to the South because I couldn't deal with the snow anymore. So I don't do cold weather. I mean, Justin's heard me say this. Air should not hurt your face. Like you shouldn't have to sit outside and have the snot come down your face because, oh my God, it's so cold. No.
Nobody should live like that.
No one should live like that. That's horrendous. No. All right. Other than my kids being born, the coolest day of my life was just selling my snowblower. Like that was awesome.
Well, I could see why she thought you were Southern because of that act. You have that very deep Southern accent.
Yeah, it's possible. That's possible. But no, I still love my bagels. I want my real New York pizza. You know, like that. You know, like I told Tara, I'm like, when you come home, you got to bring home bagels.
I'm gonna tell you what. There's two things in Tennessee that I really miss is a good bagel. There are a couple places that will do a good bagel, but you got to really drive to find them. And a good Jewish deli.
Yeah, man. You know, give me some. What is it? Corned beef and rye, man.
Yeah. I miss whenever I go down to Miami or whatever, there's always these phenomenal Jewish delis, and I just hit them up. That and Cuban sandwiches and whatnot.
Yeah.
So,
but I'll tell you know what I miss the most besides the bagels, the pizza in New York. I miss the bodegas.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have them where you are.
No, and the grimier, the better the food is. Like that's just the way.
I believe that. That's like the whole hole in the wall thing.
So good. Yeah, like there's not even a sign. It's just like a door.
But you know, if you have like food trucks, though, I'm sure you have food trucks in that area. Those are kind of the same thing. Not really.
The food down here isn't as great, though. You say what you want.
No, New York food is like the best. Is like the best.
Yeah, it's. I'm not being pompous about it. Like,
no, it is. Specifically the city.
I can't find a good Chinese food restaurant around here. Can't do it.
Yeah, no.
Got some decent ones. I'm not saying that they're horrible. I found some decent ones, but man, you know what I mean? To like hook it up.
No, I agree with you. It's like a good Mexican restaurant. So I used to live in San Antonio, and so you had phenomenal Mexican restaurants because you're an hour and a half, 2 hours from the border. Yeah. And here it's just all the Americanized kind of Tex-Mex, but really just the, your standard like Speedy Gonzalez meals and like but you had gourmet, like in-house smoked salsa, stuff like that down there. And it was incredible, but yeah, same thing. But New York, the city in particular has the best food, hands down. So, I'm sure in San Diego, I would love it too. Yeah. You're quiet. Can't hear you. You can't hear you. Can we type that he can't hear? Okay. There you go. You got to unmute it. Nope. There you are.
Yeah. My wife is FaceTiming me, so
Okay.
I'm gonna go. So
Now we're blocking over. Okay, well, you go. Yeah, this is weird now. But you go. See you later. Thanks for coming on. So, all right, guys. Well, there you go. So before I go back, we love Joe, guys. We really do. We're gonna go ahead and do that for him, so he help him out. We love Joe. He is a good dude. And I know he said whatever. Yes, share people, support GabbyPetitoFoundation.org. They do some amazing work. He's him, Nikki, all of them are just incredible people. So, anyway, so I'm going to get ready to log off on the YouTube thing, but I will say it one more time for those of y'all who maybe were just coming in for as far as the big news on the bigger case, is that the blurb, we'll read it again, and I'm going to do a video on this tomorrow with more detail, but is Madeline McCann. Again, they're talking about him being the suspect. Now he's going to be facing some of his victims in February in court in Germany, in the Braunschweig High Court. The little blurb, according to police sources in Germany, is because the Madeline trial will follow soon afterwards. Police sources in Germany told the Olive Press, which is, I looked Olive Press up. It is a legitimate news source. It's good news, finally, and we are working on the exact dates now, a senior detective at the BKA in Wiesbaden revealed. So that's what we got, guys. That's pretty huge. So I'll take any questions on that before we open it up. For everybody who subscribed, by the way, thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it. The gifts, the support, the likes, the follows, everything. We will definitely be covering that. But before I open it back up, what questions do you guys have on YouTube or on TikTok? Either. I'll wait. And if you're watching this later on YouTube, which, by the way, if you missed this live and you want to see it, you can go on YouTube and watch it from the very beginning. So I'll give it a couple more minutes for some questions. And if not, we will. I don't think I'll end the live on YouTube. I think we'll talk about some other things. But, well, thank you, Haley. I appreciate that. And Beth, you might have to tell me a little bit more about that crazy guy. I know there's a crazy guy right now claiming to be Kaylee Anthony's father on TikTok. Did Dave Holloway make a statement? He may have. Give me a second on that. Yes, he did. You want me to read Dave's statement? I can do that. Oh, Chris Ann, we are about to. Chris Ann, as soon as I open this up to full people, no, you don't have to subscribe on YouTube. I'm just on YouTube. And thank you for subscribing here. We're about to get, one of the things we're going to get into tonight is going to be Justin and Brittany, because I definitely have some stuff to say about that. And I'm probably going to lose followers over what I'm going to say. So yeah, if you want to stick around, yeah, we're going to definitely talk about that. So let's go ahead real quick before we get into that and opening everything else up. Let's go ahead and read Dave Holloway's statement, because you know what? Natalie's been in the spotlight. Let me do it for Dave as well. So, oh yeah, I am very, very happy to talk about the Justin Brittany stuff with y'all, because I am like, let's go. Like Joe is back from FaceTime. So we'll read Dave's statement and then we'll switch to something maybe a little lighter for the evening. So here's what he said. Let me pull it up on YouTube so people can read it. Give me 1 second before I do that. Share screen. Share screen. Bam. All right. So if you're on YouTube, you can kind of see the letter and follow along with us. Do not apologize, Joe, for talking to your wife. You have to do that. Well, thank you, Summer. So here's what Dave Holloway said. Nothing about the last 18 years of being Natalee Holloway's father has been what I dreamed for our daughter. We were not able to see Natalee grow into the woman she was poised to become when she was ripped from our lives on May 30th, 2005, during a high school graduation trip with her friends. We never saw her attend the University of Alabama, where she was set to begin classes in August of 2005 on full scholarship. We never saw her pursue her dream of becoming a doctor. We never saw her dance again. We never saw Natalee celebrate another birthday or Christmas, walk down the aisle as the bride, or rock or rock her newborn. We were robbed of a promising future together with our beautiful, talented Natalee. And now we know who took that future from us. The man who will be standing before you for sentencing on October 18th, 2023, who has confessed to murdering our daughter. For almost 2 decades, this man has deprived us of the basic truth of what happened to Natalee. We now know that he killed her intentionally because she dared to stand up for her own body and defend herself against his unwanted sexual advances. Protecting herself, enraged and aggressive predator to the point of murder. He murdered Natalee, and then he tortured and extorted those who loved her most. Despite everything that he has done to us, he is not sorry for what he did. He expresses no remorse, regret, or even compassion for committing the horrific crime that violently ended Natalee's life and irreparably changed the trajectory of all of ours. He is evil personified. Having seen and heard him confess to the brutal murder of our daughter, I believe him. We are satisfied that our daughter died at his hands and that he acted alone. Questions will forever remain about the extent to which others participated in depriving us of the opportunity to return Natalee's remains to Alabama. But for the tenacity of the United States Attorney's Office, the FBI, and other federal agencies who relentlessly pursued justice for Natalee, we would not be here today. We are forever grateful for their professionalism, dedication, and perseverance. Please sentence this man to the fullest extent of the law. Today marks some legal accountability, but we are convinced that a higher power will pronounce the ultimate judgment on this defendant and anyone else who helped him prevent us from bringing Natalee home. So that is Dave Holloway's statement, also very powerful. All of these statements are also on my Instagram for those of y'all who want to read them. The transcripts of how he murdered Natalee's on there, and that was highlighted in the entire plea agreement, which in the plea agreement includes both of these statements. These are on the last post of the statement for Beth Holloway and Dave Holloway are on the last page. There were 5 different posts about the plea deal because it was 51 pages. I took like the empty pages out, but still 5 posts. It's on the 5th post on Instagram. So I'm just glad for their parents. I'm just glad. I hate that, the outcome is they didn't get to see their daughter grow up. I have a daughter. I just don't even want to try to imagine what that's like. Anybody who's a parent knows that would be the absolute worst nightmare that somebody could go through. But I'm glad that they were able to actually get closure. They're satisfied with the answers. They know what happened to their child. And even though that doesn't bring her back, it doesn't change anything. There's at least somebody to held accountable and direct that anger towards. And I think that that's a good thing. So I almost think his was tougher than Beth's to read. I mean, that definitely, they both hit you in the feels. So what other questions before we open it up to everybody? If there's any questions. All right. So when I open it up, I will not be taking questions about the Madeline McCann thing. I will be doing a video about that tomorrow. Thank you guys for the subscription, by the way, and the roses and the gifts. We can, of course, still talk about Natalee Holloway because I think that she deserves her day. I know that we talked about Britney Spears earlier, and I definitely want to talk about that because, look, again, I'm just going to say this. I might lose followers over this. I think that, albeit a very talented man, I think that Justin Timberlake is probably not that good of a human and probably a bit abusive. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Kylie. You don't have to subscribe to watch now. It was just for this particular live, and I'm gonna open up for everybody, and I'm still on YouTube as well, which was not subscribing. You can just follow on YouTube. And I did YouTube because of the ability to pop things up on the screen. So, all right. So no questions on either side on YouTube or here. So let's go ahead and open it up to everything. Let me go ahead and turn off sub only live. I cannot turn off sub only live when I am on live. Cool. All right. Well, I thank you, Brittany. Okay, so I can't turn off sub only live apparently while I'm on sub only live. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to sign off and I'm going to immediately come back on and it will be open to everybody. So, well, I do appreciate y'all for real. The biggest reason I did it this way is because I've been so holding this one, the thing about Madeline so close to the vest. So, all right, I'm going to sign off on this. YouTube, stay right there and we'll be back on. All right, we're going to go back on this. All right. And I see, Kimberly, you said that there was some information about Jean Bonnet. I will have to check that out. I will put that in my notes. And we're going to talk about some more things because there has been, you know, I'm happy that these are starting to get solved. It's not the outcomes we all would want. Obviously, we'd like them to be found safe somewhere, but and he's back. So, hey, Abs. All right. So we just had a long conversation about Natalee Holloway. If you missed that or any part of it and want to know, I was also doing this on YouTube. And on YouTube, you can go back and rewind and watch. So if you want to go see everything that we talked about and what happened today, that's going to be probably your most, probably your best way of doing it. So I also went ahead, for those who were subscribing or who were on YouTube, explain the case I've been keeping so secret. So yeah. I am well. Thank you. How are you? And thank you guys, everybody who is on YouTube as well. I appreciate y'all support there as well. We will go ahead and turn and log off on YouTube. I think that's a good wrap for the evening. And then we'll go straight to TikTok if you want to watch there. And I appreciate everybody who followed on YouTube as well. You guys are amazing. And appreciate I got a couple of subscribers, Max and Cindy on YouTube. Thank you guys so much. I just saw that. You guys are awesome. Thank you. All right, we're going to end the stream there. And yeah.